Welcome, everyone, to the Change Starts Here podcast. I'm your host, Dustin Odham. And this week's episode is a short one. It's a solo episode with me. It's our goal is not to be much longer than 5 or 10 minutes. And really, it's just to one, thank you for being a loyal listener. Two, to kind of give you some perspective on the upcoming break and some ideas that I think we have on how to best use your time over the break. And then three, to get you excited about what we're going to come back to after the new year. And so first, I just want to say thank you for everyone who listens to this podcast. As you all can imagine, when I go back and re-listen to the podcast, it's really hard to hear your own voice. And so I'm sure I go through spells where I'm thinking, how's anybody listening to this? And so I just cannot thank you all enough. I hope, hopefully I've not made you think about my voice at this point, but I hope, if nothing else, you know and can feel my heart for really learning and seeking information from every guest we have. But the most important part is seeking information that I think is relevant for all of us, both in our personal lives and our professional lives and our work. And so I can't thank you enough for supporting us. We continue to grow, continues to baffle me, and I'm so honored and thankful for that. The other thing I want to say is that, we've decided to take off the break this year. We're wrapping up the end of our second full year. And one of the reasons that we've decided to take a couple of weeks off is the holiday season for me has always been a time to recharge and to really think about what matters most in my life and make sure my priorities and the way I'm spending my time match what I think I'm called to be and what I want to be in my life. And so I just want to encourage everyone here to use the upcoming weeks to just take time to focus on yourselves and focus on your most important relationships and get recentered. One of the ways that I'm going to do that, and one of the ways that I've been working on it with the group of guys that I meet with once a week, is the power of silence. I know we talked about this a little bit before, but I am notoriously terrible at sitting quietly with my own thoughts. I mean, I'm great. I love to sit with a podcast. I love to sit with music. I love to sit with people and talk and listen to them. But I really struggle to find the quiet time and the stillness and to make time to sit in the stillness and just be with my thoughts and meditate. And so, and for me, it's prayer. So I would say for you all, I would challenge everyone to just find some time, whether it's if we've had podcast guests suggest 10, 15, 30-minute walks, whatever it is, but leave your phone at home, leave your earbuds out, and just go be with yourself. And I think that's one step to getting closer to the person that we're all called to be. The second thing I would say is, while you're doing that, is I would just encourage you to dream about your future. We had a recent guest talking about her book, Cynthia Covey, which was living life in crescendo. And no matter what age we're at, no matter what stage of life we're in, we need to operate and think about that every day is our best day, and that our future and our impact on this world, our greatest impact, is always in front of us. And so no matter if you've had one of the best years of your life, no matter if you had one of those challenging years of your life, I just want to encourage you all to use this time as you're in silence, as you're with others, to really think about your future and what the next crescendo is for you. Another thing that we've talked about quite a bit, and it's something that I revisit every year. In college, I read a book. I think I've shared this before, but I read a book called The Purpose-Driven Life. And I wrote a mission statement that I've kept to this day. And there's a deeper meaning to it, but the quick way to describe it is, my goal is to make a positive and lasting impact in the life of every person I meet every day. And I wrote that, one, with kind of a faith perspective in my head, but two, to remind myself that everybody matters and that I need to love and pour into everybody, no matter who they are and what they are, what walk of life they're from. And then also it allowed me, as you can tell, to make a positive and lasting impact in the life of every person I meet every day. It wasn't job specific. So it didn't tie me to what kind of job I was going to be. So my identity wasn't based on the job, and I could choose opportunities that would give me more of a chance to live out that mission that I felt like I was called to do. So one of the things that I would just encourage you to make sure you make time for is, if you don't have a mission statement, find a book like The Purpose Driven Life or The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People or anything else. I mean, there's a number of great books out there, and I'm sorry I don't have them all off the top of my head, to create your own personal mission statement, to know what you're about, both personally and professionally. And then if you have one, just revisit it and think about, first, is this the right, are these the right words, the right sentence, is this the right phrase for where you are in life and what you want to accomplish and that crescendo that's in front of you. And then if it is, then let's start creating a plan. I really am, as we ask these questions at the end of every podcast about what people's favorite books are. And so a lot of people have talked about atomic habits and the theory of getting 1% better every day. And that's something that really sticks with me. I was listening to an interview on a different podcast the other day where it was asking someone was challenging, next year they're trying to say, every month, I'm just going to master one habit. I'm going to work on maybe first month, just waking up at an earlier time. Second month might be exercising. Third month, drinking more water. And their whole point was, if I just work on one thing every month and build on that every month, at the end of the year, I will have improved in 12 different ways that will hopefully make me a better person. And so most of us, I always think that doesn't seem ambitious enough. But the problem is that as we come to the new year, we get so ambitious that we have so many different ideas on our plates, and we're trying to get 1% better in about 32 different areas of our life versus just picking one area and getting success there, and then picking another area in our life and getting success there. So as you're taking time over the break to sit in silence, to dream about your future and the crescendo that's in front of you, to create or recreate or revisit the mission statement you have, I want you to Google different exercises to help you set your intentions and your plans to go accomplish the goals that you have in front of yourself for this year. I was in a men's group this morning, and there was a debate about motivation. And my one friend pointed out of how, motivation is overrated in his head, because really it's just about discipline. We have to make a little decision every day. So whether it's waking up early or going to exercise or going to eat differently, you keep doing those little things over time, and that leads to more and more motivation. And so I think for me, it doesn't matter, I have Abby, the amazing producer on this podcast. She talks about how she does a list every year where she writes down things that she wants. And so she writes a list of things that she wants that she's accomplished, and then things that she wants that she hasn't accomplished. And then she creates plans off of that. And so you could be a list person, do that. I have friends who are more visual people who draw out their dream boards or life maps, or just cut out magazine articles or pictures on the internet to create something visual to inspire them. I really do not care. I think for you need to think about how your heart's designed and what's going to motivate you. And then ultimately, so we talk about sitting in silence. We talk about dreaming about the future and the impact you're going to have in this world. We talk about creating your mission statement, and then having a clear plan to try to go about being 1% better each day and each month. I really find that the common theme in almost every interview we've had in 2 years in terms of making impact in your own life, making the biggest impact in your life and the impact of others, is coming back to this, what I talked about a month ago, is being fully present. Being in the now is so powerful. It feels like as you guys think about it, when you're in the moment of right now, it feels like an eternity. It feels like you were just meant to be, you were born for that moment, whether it's just a relationship and a conversation you're in, or some fun event you're having with your family or friends. Whatever it takes, I would just encourage you, as you're spending time over the break and you have some downtime, to figure out what is keeping you from being fully present, and start putting things in your life. For me, it's silence. For me, I notice that when I don't wake up as early as I normally like to and start my day with the disciplines that I like to start my day with, I notice that I'm not really present much the rest of the day. I'm thrown off by every little thing that could come up. Even if it's not a stressful day, I get thrown off because I'm not grounded in the purpose of that day, and in the disciplines that I've created for myself to keep me grounded in the purpose of that day. And so I just want to encourage you all, to take the time to get plugged in, to get fully present with yourself. And most importantly, be fully present with the people around you, the people that you're visiting, the people that are visiting you. Just even if it's, crazy political discussions that you don't want to have, look for the genius in each person that you're with. Look for, don't try to make them one-dimensional beings that we want to disagree with all the time. Look at them as three-dimensional, beautiful beings, beautiful broken beings, and look for their genius and just appreciate their genius, even if it's hard to listen to some of the political rhetoric or whatever else they want to talk about, which typically comes up during this time of year. Just fully be present. We're going to be back on January 10th with our first guest ever, Julie Morgenstern. She's coming back. If you don't remember, that's a podcast you could listen to over the break, which is Julie Morgenstern is an author of A Time to Parent. And it was one of my favorite podcasts. It was my first one, so I don't know how good I was as an interviewer at the time, but she is awesome. That book is awesome. That book is one that I still refer to with my kids. My wife was just telling me, Ashley was just telling me last night how she uses some of the principles in the book, yes, to be a better mom and to be a better wife, but also to be a better leader at school and with her team. And so that was pretty cool to hear. And so I'm very excited to have her back. It's something I would encourage you all to look forward to. And again, over the break, you can check out her book, A Time to Parent, or you can go listen to the 38-minute podcast that we had from 2 years ago. That, again, was our first podcast and something that I still have gone back to. As tough it is to listen to my voice, I've gone back to twice now to listen to. So again, for those of you who are subscribing to this podcast, I cannot thank you enough. If you're a regular listener, I cannot thank you enough. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit the subscribe button. It helps us tremendously. And as always, if you hear something that I talked about today that you think could uplift somebody else in your life or just encourage people to reprioritize the upcoming weeks differently, please share it with them. That's really what this is about. As much as I want this to grow, I care and think more about the deep impact. And so if we have 3 listeners that it makes a lot of impact for, that warms my heart. And as it can help others, that's really what we're about. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being a loyal supporter. I hope you have a wonderful holiday break, and I look forward to reconnecting with you all after the new year on January 10th. Please support us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, podcast on Apple or Spotify, and help us celebrate the beautiful, messy work of shaping human potential.